If that election was stolen, then we are right now under a usurper government in Washington. And every single day that goes by represents a threat not only to me and my family, but to you and your family, and to them and their families. And that's why we don't understand why these state legislators seem so comfortable with looking the other way when they even say themselves that there are glaring issues of irregularity, illegality, vulnerabilities, lack of dedication to process and procedure.
They're blackmailed.
Well, I don't want to address what it is about it. I want to stop them. I want them to become Americans again. Support us, we the people. They are there because they answer to we the people.
But they answer to the speaker.
They don't understand, and we've got to make sure that they do. We are going to be joined next with the Executive Director of the Election Integrity Fund and Force. This is a dynamic woman named Sandy Kissel. She has directed our efforts so well and so strongly and in the right way that I'm not sure we would be an organization if it wasn't for somebody as powerful and as wonderful as Sandy Kissel.
Okay, folks, we are live here in Lansing, Michigan. This is a voter integrity rally that was called for quite a while ago, but it was really the fact that Trump sent an email to his supporters telling them about this that I think caused it to be a lot bigger. This was originally permitted to have 100 people at it. There's clearly more than 100 people here. By far the majority are Trump supporters, of course. The rally was theoretically subject to be talking about sort of election reform, election integrity reform, but I think a big focus, it seems already, is of course the 2020 election. I'm going to say, for the sake of YouTube, so people understand the rules about YouTube's live streaming regulations. This is live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Of course, I just stream live. I don't make any commentary or observation about whether the people who I'm filming are right or wrong. This is what journalism should be. It's what primary source journalism is. But I am saying this so that you understand. As YouTube is concerned, they say that on a few specific subjects that you have to actually include countervailing views in order to cover this sort of thing. So, in order to comply with YouTube's standards, I would say that Joe Biden is the President of the United States, and you can go to cdc.gov/rumor control to learn about election integrity. This is the link that they used to include on YouTube content related to the election, and it is a substantive countervailing view. I would also say that in case anybody talks about vaccines, an issue that YouTube also says that you can't basically film people talking about in a way that's sort of disapproved. You can go to the CDC's website to learn about vaccine safety. So those were my countervailing views. The rest of this live stream should be covered by those things. And so YouTube, if you elect to take down this live stream, I will point to the conversation that I just had with the camera and say I introduced those countervailing views. So with that being said, I hope not to be seen much more on this stream, and I want to just show you what's going on. So whether you agree with them, disagree with them, talk about it in the comments, but this is going to, from here on out, be an objective recording of what's happening here at the steps in Lansing.
Join the force! We also need you to sign up for the canvassing. And you're going to have the opportunity to hear from Liz Harris later today. She's the person who drove the canvassing in Arizona, and she's dynamic as can be. And we have Joanne over in our booth, and Joanne is working on our canvassing. We need to canvass this entire state. That's part of how Arizona got their audit done. So we need all of you to join in that.
Oh my God.
And just one last thing before I turn this back over to Janice, I'd like to throw a big thank you out to all of the people who helped us organize this and all of the speakers today. And I'm excited to get to hear from all of them, and we'll chat again later. Janice, back to you.
Well, I have invited many of the legislators to this event. I believe we invited Governor Gretchen Whitmer. She declined. We invited Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson. She declined. there was a representative who passed away this month named Andrea Schroeder. She represents District 43, which is in North Oakland County, Independence Township. We do want to offer our condolences to her and her family. My understanding is you memorial for her last week, but we're not going to say anything. And that is why we are here today. We are here to peacefully petition the government that we instituted to protect and defend our Constitution and our way of life and our families and our God. These people are supposed to be protecting and defending the United States Constitution, and we...
I'm State Representative Steve Carra, and I'm here to advocate that we can get this done. I introduced a bill for a full forensic audit, but what it's going to be is subpoena powers or a petition drive. We can pass through the House a resolution that gives subpoena powers to a committee. We've got the votes.
We need a forensic audit, and we need it now. You prove Biden won. It's time to take a stand, and we can't be the only state left out. Other states are beginning, even those who voted for Trump. We know that this is not going away, and we need each and every one.
If you lost your diamonds last year because a thief broke into your house, and a law enforcement agency came up to you today and said, oh well, better luck next time, would you accept that? No, we want our diamonds back. That's right, that's right. The next set of people that are going to come up and join us are John Roca and Tammy Clark. They are the president and the vice president of the Citizens Initiative Ballot Forensic Audit. So we want to have them come up and tell us a little bit about their initiative. John Roca, Tammy Clark, thank you so much.
Check.
Let's go, Brandon! Let's go, Brandon!
I welcome Michigan to taking our state back. This right here is how it's done. This right here is how a movement begins. This is how a revolution starts. Ladies and gentlemen, it's right here in front of the state capitol, letting these guys know what we want, demanding it, because we are the people. And don't ever forget that. My name is Johnny Osher, and standing beside me is Tammy Clark. Together, we are the president and vice president of something you guys probably should be very interested in. We've listened to the people. We understand what's going on. And with the help of Patrick Colbeck, Matthew DePerno, with names like Melissa Carone and Jovan Pulitzer, with the Hillsdale GOP and people like Tammy and Angela Regas, we have put together a citizens initiative for a full forensic audit of the 2020 election. Ladies and gentlemen, we couldn't do this without the people I just mentioned. And sometimes they go unnoticed. But I want to make sure that they have their right upcomings. It's important to know how hard and how much these people have sacrificed to get to the point we have today. So before I continue and let you know all the details, let's give all of those people one more round of applause for what they've done for this movement. I promise you I'm not just a pretty face up here. That's not why they put me up here, right? I promise you that.
Me neither.
But this is what I can tell you. AuditMI.org. Pull out your phone right now. AuditMI.org. Ladies and gentlemen, the bill is written. Ladies and gentlemen, the bill is being passed right now into the hands of Matthew DePerno and Patrick Colbeck and Jovan Pulitzer, and they'll be looking at it this week to ensure the integrity of this bill. We're not taking any crap anymore. We're done with that.
Oh, yeah!
This week, we'll be marching that bill with the help of God and the people of this state right to the Board of Canvassers and lay it right on the desk of Johnson and Benson and saying, guess what? We're coming.
That's right, we're coming. Woo!
But we need your help.
It's veto proof.
It is absolutely veto proof. That is the best thing about this. The governor cannot stop this bill. But ladies and gentlemen, we're not done yet. We've got signatures. Everybody remembers Unlock's petition, 1945 repeal law. Remember those petitions we signed? It's the exact same thing. When we have those petitions out, around the middle of November, I'm going to need every single one of you and every single one of your 10 family members and 10 more of their family members to get on this petition, to get on that website and be a petition circulator, to be a county clerk, to be one of these people that will go ahead and put these petitions out there. Because we need 500,000 signatures. It's going to go to the House, it's going to go to the Senate, and then I'm going to get every single one of you to call them.
Who's in?
Ladies and gentlemen, your words have been heard. AuditMI.org. Let's get the Citizens Initiative petition done, because if the people in this state won't do it, we the people sure the hell will. God bless every single one of you. God bless the state. God bless America.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Now I want you all to keep your eyes on my eyes, but I want to tell you what my shirt says. Keep America godly again. Don't look. Keep your eyes on my eyes. Keep America godly again, or make America godly again. We need divine intervention in this fight that we're facing. But we know how to be good Christian soldiers for God's liberty. God is the inspirer of liberty. He doesn't want us to be slaves or servants to any tyrannical masters, be it at the state level or the federal level. We are free people, and we will keep our sovereignty intact at whatever the cost is. And right now,
All right, hallelujah! Let me give you a little history. I testified on December 1st, 2020, in front of the Senate Oversight Committee hearing. That next day, a local rag newspaper called me a racist white supremacist. I'm telling you, you speak, I'll keep speaking. Join me in speaking up and proclaiming the truth. I just wanted to share with you, I was paid by the people of Michigan as an election integrity expert. I worked with the Department of State, the Secretary of State's office, under 5 Secretaries of State. I know that there was fraud in 2020. I know this. I will not be muted with others, but I will tell you in 2016, Donald Trump won Michigan. And in 2020, Donald Trump won Michigan. In 2018, Michigan Democrats could not handle another win. They demanded an audit for Michigan, a statewide audit, put it on the ballot, and it was passed by the people of Michigan. Our current Michigan Constitution, Article 2, Section 4 of the Michigan Constitution, requires a statewide audit. It does not require that we prove fraud. It is at the request of the people, and the people are asking. We did not get justice by our legislators, some of them. We did not get justice by our executive branch, who refuses, our Attorney General refuses to investigate election fraud. We did not get justice from our judicial branch of government, and I have been petitioning the Supreme Court of God for justice. That is why we're here. Martin Luther King, in his famous I Have a Dream speech, said, no, we are not satisfied and will not be satisfied until justice rolls down like a river. That's where we will not be satisfied, like a water, and righteousness like a mighty stream. That was not his original words. It came from the prophet Amos. And I will leave you with this. There are those who hate the one who upholds justice.
court and detest the one who tells the truth. There are those who oppress the innocent and take bribes and deprive the poor of justice in courts. People of Michigan, seek good, not evil, that you may live. But verse 24 is for all of us. Amos 5, verse 24. But let justice roll like a river and righteousness like a never-rimming stream. Hallelujah. God bless you, Michigan.
Thank you so much, Dr. The passion, great words of advice. Thank you so much. Isn't this wonderful? It's so great to be with patriots in Michigan, to show that we exist. We are here. We have an authoritative media that will not allow our message to get out to the people. That's why we, each and every one of us, we have to go out to our neighborhoods, challenge the people. I heard on a radio talk show, I think it was Eric Metaxas' show, a gentleman say, the left has been boldly telling lies for a very long time. It is time that we start boldly telling the truth. Absolutely. Now I want to make sure that you all know that Election Integrity Fund and Force is hosting or is sponsoring a canvassing effort of our own. And if you would like to be a part of the Election Integrity Fund and Force canvassing of the neighborhoods, go to that blue table and sign up when you can. That's our sign-up table there. And we'll hear from Joanne Backley shortly, as well as Liz Harris from Arizona. Liz Harris, the great patriot from Arizona, has come to Michigan. At any rate, right now I wanted to read the beginning of an article that Mark Levin wrote on October 13, 2020. This was before our election. He says, for most of us, there are few, if any, opportunities to demonstrate our devotion to this great nation. Those among us who join the military or law enforcement and protect us from foes, foreign and domestic, are small in number. Yet we have the power to determine our own fate and the fate of our nation by the simple act of voting. We have been denied the simple proof that our votes were counted as cast, and that only one legal vote was cast and counted correctly for one legal voter. The time has come for the crowd that wants to say that we have some obligation to allow peoples from around the world to come into America and just camp here in our cities. The time has come for us to say no. We have a country, we have borders. We have borders for a reason. It's to maintain our country, our identity as America, as Americans. Our families are in grave danger when our border is not secured. That is another consequence of an election. I am so glad that you are here today with Election Integrity Force and Fund, and we have a continuing lineup of great patriot speakers. Our next speaker is Tammy Clark. She comes to us from Stand Up, Michigan.
How are you?
And there she is. Tammy, come and join us.
No way.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. It is great to be with you today. I'll tell you what, if we don't get this under control, we do not have another chance. This is it. This is our time. These legislators and these lawmakers in these buildings, these governors, Secretary of State, Attorney General, better be awake, because we're not going back to sleep. This is our state, this is our time, and the time is now for a full forensic audit of our 2020 election that we know was wrought with fraud. And here's the thing, it is the people who have the right to demand an audit of their election. It is not the right of the legislators to tell us whether we can or can't have an audit of our election. And that's why we're here today, and I'm really proud of all of you. There was rain, there was threatening weather, and yet here we all are. And I am so proud of you. I'm proud to stand with Michiganders. I'm proud to be leading this charge Do you know that we formed a group called the Michigan Frontliners, and it is a group of leaders from lots of different grassroots organizations within the state of Michigan, and we together put together a demand letter that we sent to the legislature about 6 weeks ago or so, maybe a little bit more than that, because we're not asking. We are telling them, you sit in our seats and you had better do your job, or we will remember it and you will be fired. We are not asking. This is our state. This is our presidency. These are our elected officials that sit in the seats that we elect them to. And it is time that they do their jobs and they stop stalling and stonewalling and making excuses. And here's what I would ask them. Why in the world would you not give us a full forensic audit? If you don't believe there was fraud, then show us that. Because I'll tell you what, if I thought that somebody was being really crazy and ridiculous, wouldn't I love to see that person with egg on their face? Yes! So what are they waiting for? We've got it funded. It's up to them to do their jobs that we the people are demanding them to do. And I'm very proud to stand with all of you. I'm very proud to be working behind the scenes with many of these good legislators, like Dear Rendon, like Matt Maddock, like Steve Cara, and many others. They are not asleep, guys. They are on our side, and they are demanding with us. But we need to keep the pressure on because there's only a handful of them right now. And we're going to change that because we're not going to shut up and we're not going to go away. We are going to get our full forensic audit. Keep standing taller, keep speaking louder for Michigan, for the United States. As Michigan goes, so does the rest of the country. As this nation goes, so does the rest of the world. So we have a very serious issue here, and it's up to us to fix it. So keep standing, guys. Keep speaking. Keep showing up. Don't take your foot off the gas pedal now. Now it's time to go after it harder. Now it's time to go on the offense. Pedal to the metal. Let's get this done.
Amen. Thank you so much, Tammy. I appreciate that. We've had some great patriots here today, and that includes each and every one of you.
What is it that you're out here to tell these people?
Audience.
What's that? What is it out here? What's your kind of message?
Oh, I just borrowed the sign.
It's huge.
Sorry?
We are going to be joined next
What
by
do you want people to know?
Michigan GOP is a bunch of bullshit. They're fucking rhinos. They're no different than Democrats.
What
do you wish they would do differently?
What's that?
No,
what do you wish they would do differently for Trump or for
came up here with John Roca.
All right,
Thank
for
you.
being here today, everyone. I, with the River City Patriots and Kent County, and we've been trying to do a forensic audit, citizens audit, where we go out and canvas, look at the data, clean up the QBF, work with our local clerks, and I'm going to encourage you all to do that. This building behind us, I think we've figured out, is not helping us. Don't wait for them. Get active in your local communities. We have signs. Here, the first one is just Grand Rapids.
40 years. Yeah. It needs to be scrubbed from the top.
And we use this to help people find their neighbors. I have one of these for every township and city in my county. Get your folks connected, go after your local clerks, find out which ones will help us and which ones won't, all right? The last part I'm going to say here is that we have these signs over by the booth over there, and you can come pick one up and put them out in the audience, okay? And thank you so much for being here, and just keep pushing hard, because we need every one of you.
Thank you so much.
If you don't fix this shit before 22, we're all fucked anyway.
So great
Look
to
what Biden's
be
doing to this
involved
country.
with all of you people. Now, Marion Sheridan was going to be our next speaker. She is not feeling well, so add Marion Sheridan to your prayer list. And if she's watching, hi, Marion. Everybody say hi, Marion. Hi, Marion. Thank you. So we will move right on to Kathy Mcclinchy. She's a representative from an organization called PIME. That's Pure Integrity for Michigan Elections. PIME. Kathy? No, Kathy wasn't put on stage next, so I guess I'm going to have to talk about Election Integrity Fund and Force. Oh, Here she comes. Well, I'm going to talk about Election Integrity Fund and Force anyway. It's a great organization, as Sandy Kissel told you. We started out to begin poll challenging in the November 2020 election, and we quickly realized that this country needs help. We need help securing our elections, making sure they're transparent and trustworthy, and we want you all to consider joining the force. Kathy Mcclinchy, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here, and welcome all you patriots! Yes! I'm not really a good speaker, like the rest of these folks have been, but I'm going to try. I would like to thank the sponsors, Election Integrity Fund and Force, along with Sandy and Janice. I'm honored to stand here among these giants like Matt DePerno, Patrick Colbeck, and Liz Harris, and all these other great patriots. In January, a small group of us got together and we was appalled at the political situation. We had to do something, but what? We decided to focus on restoring election integrity in Michigan, because without fair elections, we're going to lose our republic. So Peer Integrity for Michigan Elections was formed. Today, PIME is composed of about 400 supporters. We analyze each election bill coming before Michigan House and Senate, and we work to close the gaps that open the door to fraud. PIME recommends to support, amend, or oppose pending legislation. Most recently, we analyzed the recommendations coming out of Arizona, forensic audit, and compared them to existing Michigan laws. We are meeting with our legislators to discuss changes. We testify at hearings, we send out calls to action, and keep each other informed. PIME helps other supporters contact their legislators. We are totally grassroots. We don't want your money, but we do need your support. Please sign up on our website at peerintegritymichiganelections.org. peerintegritymichiganelections.org. You go there and we have a newsletter, and please sign up. Give us your email and we'll get you on the newsletter. Michigan needs a forensic audit. Let us find out what is broken and repair it. We all need to show up, step up, speak up for our state. And please get out and vote. Our freedom depends on it. Again, thank you for what you have done and will continue to do for our election integrity. God bless us all.
Thank you, Kathy. Thank you so much. Pure integrity for Michigan elections. Well, our next speaker, I think you're all going to be knowledgeable about. She is not only smart and savvy, she's beautiful. Her name is Melissa Carone. She is the Dominion whistleblower who revealed systematic fraud in the election of 2020. She is now running as a state rep. She was running for a state representative position, endorsed by President Donald Trump. Welcome, Melissa Carone.
Thank you so much. I haven't been endorsed by Trump yet. But I just wanted to clear that up.
I apologize. She's been endorsed by Mike Lindell.
I have been endorsed by Mike Lindell, and I have been endorsed by Rudy and a couple other people, Roger Stone. But yes, so, a year ago today, we would have never imagined being where we're at in our country today. Being the Dominion voting whistleblower, seeing everything that I did see at the TCF Center, and trying to expose this fraud for the last year has literally taken up all of my time, and I believe that we have done that pretty well. We've done a well job doing that, or exposing the fraud. And now, Matt DePerno and Jovan Pulitzer really wrote this bill, and it is a solid bill. It follows Arizona completely, and obviously our only fear is, look at what they did in Arizona. They're trying to totally discredit this. and they handed it over to their attorney general. And what if that happens here? You know, so we really do have to think about this. I know there's other ways of going about it, but you know, our legislators, we know our legislators are not being a voice for us. They are not a voice for us. They are not on our side. I mean, we have a couple that are here that, thank God, they are on our side, but the rest of them, they gotta go. They're not helping us. They have to go. It's time to elect everyday normal people, and the people that actually care, you know, and that are gonna make changes. That's me. That'll be me. I will be a voice for all of you in my district, and I will always be honest with you guys, and I will always make sure that I am working for the people, and that's what they should be doing, but they're not, because they're all rhinos in there, and that's a problem. Now, you know, another thing I just wanted to touch on is the huge issue that we have within our party. You know, just, it seems like we fight more in our own party than we do with the opposite side, you know, and this is it's a major problem. And, you know, we have half of the party that won't admit that there was any fraud in the election. And then we have the other half that, you know, knows that there was fraud, like you guys right here. And, you know, so what are we gonna do? I say they go to the other side. You know, I say they get out of our party because they're doing us so much harm. You know, these rhinos are doing us nothing but harm. But thank you so much. God bless you all. God bless America. And God bless President Trump for being the leader of the Republican Party and actually putting America first. Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa. We're ahead of schedule, luckily. I want to first ask Melissa, no, come back, I've got a question for you. I want to ask you, do you remember what your answer was at that hearing when a representative said to you, well, if there is so much evidence of fraud, why isn't everybody coming up and saying something about it?
Yeah,
I
said, well, it's because they're scared. They're being threatened. That's you know, right. They're being threatened. They don't want to come forward. And, you know, the Democrats, they ruin your lives. They ruin your lives. They put you all over the media. They try to make, you know, you look like you're completely insane. They did it to me for months. They showed up at my house. You know, I couldn't find a job for months. It was terrible. So, I mean, you sacrifice, you make these sacrifices to make sure that people know what happened. And I made that sacrifice, and I would do it again. Yeah. And you know, I'm just happy that we are all on the same page now, and we have so much support for this. But the questions that our Republican legislators were asking during that hearing, those were totally unacceptable. We know those machines have to go. We can go back to hand counting. We're connected to the internet. The fraud, the white vans full of ballots that came in, those 3 times, not once, not twice, 3 times. You know, I mean, this is a huge problem. It's a huge problem. And I say Chief Craig needs to get up and answer for that. He was the chief of police. Who called for the police escort on those trucks? Who allowed our Republican poll watchers to be bullied, thrown out, the windows boarded up? Why are Republicans supporting this guy? He allowed the election to be stolen in Detroit. If it wasn't for him, it couldn't have happened. He did it. There you go.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. I want to ask all of you to look above and wave. We're being viewed by a black helicopter. Hey! Nice to see you. Nice to see that you care. Your family is going to be affected by this stolen election as well. So we want you to be on our side. Thank you so much for joining us. Next, did you know that Michigan has a national treasure? Yes. We have a national treasure named former Senator Patrick Colbeck. This is a man who has been fearless. He is brilliant, he's handsome, he's strong, he's brave, and he's here to speak to you now. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Janice. Hey, by the way, how about a round of applause here for the Election Integrity Fund and Force? What a great event. You never know this is their first event, so let the good times roll. Guys, and we need some good times, because I think anybody looking out at what's happening to our country right now realizes we got some issues. How is it that almost 12 months after the election, we have so many people here upset about what happened during that election? You know, America, when we're confident that the elections were run with integrity, we just move on, redouble down, go off and do better with your campaigning efforts for the next election. That's not what happened this time. And it's not because our favorite candidate did not win. Back in 2016, when Jill Stein, called for a recount, I called for an investigation then. Trump was designated the winner of Michigan in that election, and I still called for an investigation. So for anybody trying to cast this as a partisan activity on it, yeah, we all support, a lot of us support President Trump, but guys, if you're thinking that this is just about President Trump, you're missing the big picture. This is about who we are as Americans. This is about our constitutional rights. It's about the fact that we've got constitutional rights that are being abridged under this administration, and this administration sitting right across the street from us as well. If we don't stand up for our rights, we are going to lose them. And that's what's been happening over the last year. So the fact that you guys are out here right now, you're doing that important step of making sure that we assert our rights so that we do not lose them. So thank you for coming out. Now, there's a lot of great speakers here today. There's a lot of things that I would love to discuss, but one thing that's become very clear to me over the last 12 months is exactly how this election was stolen. So I'm just going to give you a quick snapshot. My former colleague, Senator John Papa George, used to say, Colbeck, put it in a bumper sticker. All right? I was not very good at putting it in bumper stickers, so I'm an engineer, right? We don't do bumper stickers. But here's my best shot at it, okay? It was a 4-phase operation. Phase 1, preparation. Phase 2, main attack. Phase 3, backup attack. Phase 4, defense. So that preparation phase, that was lasting for decades up to this. This is where they create and exploit weaknesses in our election system. And that's not just the mail-in ballot process or absentee voter process. That's putting in electronic voting systems capable of networking to the internet. That centralizes elections. That allows one person with an IV drip of Red Bull to go off and modify and select the next leader of the free world. All right? Not good. That's when they go off and stack the qualified voter file with ineligible voters so that they can use it as a slush fund later on. That's when they go off and put out rules like what Jocelyn Benson put out to get rid of the signature verification requirement. That's what's called exploiting and creating weaknesses. That's what all the preparation was for. Then we get to phase 2. That's just good old-fashioned ballot stuffing via mail-in ballots. When you stuff the qualified voter file with a bunch of low-propensity voters, a bunch of voters that never even existed, and then you get rid of the method of verifying whether or not they're real people with the signatures on the way into the poll, guess what? You're going to have an issue, right? You have a selection, not an election. But you know what? The folks that are here made the difference in that. Mike Lindell likes to talk about this all the time. Then a miracle happened, right? That miracle was that they did not predict the voter turnout very effectively because you came out and voted overwhelmingly in support of our candidate for president. And they had a big oopsies moment, right? Where they said, uh-oh, we're going to have to go to plan B. That's when all the election tallying stopped. That's when they had little things called the Edison zero, where all of a sudden cumulative vote counts went to zero. As an engineer, that's an indication of a digital controller being used to manipulate the election results. That's a reset of a set point. Their set point was on how many votes they needed for a certain gentleman that's currently occupying the White House. All right, but you know what? That carried with it a few more risks. And due to the efforts of folks like Matt DePerno and others who've been working nonstop since that point in time, we found a lot about what happened in that attack phase in phase 3. And right now we're in phase 4, which is the defense phase, which means you're going to censor this. Anytime you talk about election fraud, all the media is going to put in the unfounded word in front of it. They're going to put up a bunch of conspiracy theorists. Well, you know what? They verified that it was a conspiracy fact in this last election. Molly Ball out in Time Magazine article identified that. They've been working at this for a long time. Now the key thing is, what are we going to do about it? You can't detect all that stuff that we're talking about without a full forensic audit. That's why we're calling for that. Recounts do not work. All recounts do is tell you how many ballots were stuffed into the box. They don't tell you which ones are real, which ones are fake. So recounts are nice. They tell you how well we can count in the wake of Common Core math being adopted in our state. Right? That's nice. But it does not tell you whether or not we had a high integrity election. You need an audit to do that. You need to canvass. That's what's happening all across Michigan. That's what Liz Harris did in Arizona. 300,000 fraudulent voters identified. In Michigan, we're identifying the same rate of voter fraud in our state. Up in Muskegon, the first 10 people that they contacted, 7 of them had voting anomalies. In Livonia, we're finding voting anomalies. You're going to hear from Jackie Eubanks, who in Macomb County identified 20% of them having voting anomalies. We got to get going, guys. And I got to get going apparently too. But guys, canvassing will unearth this. A full forensic audit will do this, not a recount. If we want our country back, it's not up to President Trump. It's not up to Mike Lindell. It's not up to any of the people up on the stage. It's up to each and every one of you here. Thank you for doing your part. God bless you and God bless America, everybody.
Thank you so much, Senator Coleman. Thank you so much. God bless you for all you're doing. God bless and protect you for all that you're doing. There are people walking around the audience with buckets. They're carrying buckets. If you have any dollars that you can put in there to donate for Election Integrity Fund and Force to be able to host, sponsor, and put on events like this and continue our work to do the canvassing, to do the outreach, to use the media outlets that we do have to get our message out, because you know and I know that the so-called authoritative media is not going to let us speak. They will not. You know, I don't think you see too many NBC, CBS trucks here, CNN. They know about this event. They're not here because they don't want to get this message out. It is going to be up to you and me. Do you know about ballot harvesting? Have you ever heard that, ballot harvesting? Well, I have a copy of the Senate Government Oversight Committee hearing report that they put out on the November 2020 election. In this report, they say that there was no ballot harvesting in the 2020 election. That's what they said. I asked a senator, a sitting senator, if they looked at the surveillance tapes or recordings that are legally mandated to be at all the drop boxes to see if there was ballot harvesting. His answer was no. The Senate Government Oversight Committee that was tasked with creating a report that was supposed to tell you and me and all the people in Michigan that our election was free and fair, secure as ever. They did not even look at the security recordings for the drop boxes that were placed around Detroit. I think that's a travesty. I think that's a travesty of our justice. And I would call upon them, I guess they're in that building if they're looking out, I would call upon them to take a few minutes to look at those surveillance recordings and then come back and tell me there was no ballot harvesting in that election. I'm willing to accept the truth, whatever the truth might be, but we need to know the truth, and it has to be found out with a full forensic investigation and audit of all of the election artifacts. That's what Election Integrity Fund Enforcement is working toward. That's what all you people out here are working toward, and that's what we want you legislators who work for us to work for. Now, I am proud to announce our next speaker. It's Trucker Randy Bishop. He lives in Antrim County. Have you heard of Antrim County before? Trucker Randy lives in Antrim County. He's a Christian conservative talk radio show host. He's a really good one. I like listening to his show. It's called Your Defending Fathers. It's heard at WCHY in Sheboygan and every day at 9
I had to get a picture of this side.
Ann Arbor on Sunday nights from 6 to 7. I used to have host a radio show of my own on Lamb Radio. I don't know if you've heard of the Jan Daniel show. I enjoy the professional, and he's going to tell you why we need a full forensic audit. Randy Bishop.
Hey everybody. You're listening to the third and final hour of Your Defending Fathers with Trucker Randy on the Patriot Voice Radio Network. No, wrong show. Sorry. Thank you, Janice. Guys, Janice just talked about the truth. I'm going to give you some truth straight up. You ready? Power. Power in Lansing. Who has been in control of the House and the Senate before the election of 2020? Who is currently in power, the Speaker of the House, Senate Majority Leader, majority in the House and the Senate? Which party?
Evil people!
Do you know why Ed McBroom, the chairman of the Senate Oversight Committee, says in a 55-page report released on June 23rd there was no evidence of election fraud? Do you know why they say that? Because they want their power next year in their election. They don't give a damn about Trump's election. They only care about theirs next year. Do you know why they're fighting us so bad? They won't meet with Matt DePerno. They won't meet with Pat Kobach to see the forensic evidence that we have from Antrim County, Michigan. They did a forensic audit. We know exactly what happened in my stupid little county of 16,000 votes. I was in the basement of Coble Hall with Patrick Kobach, Christina Caramo, many others on election night, and you know what? The phone was blowing up. What the F happened in Antrim County? Traitor. Folks, we're all red up there. The Democrats don't even put candidates on the ballot. Why? Because we're Republican, we're conservatives. But on election night, Antrim County was colored blue. Biden beat Trump. Gary Peters beat John James. Our Congressman Jack Bergman, Lieutenant General Marine Corps, was beaten by a Democrat from Negaunee that we didn't even know his damn name. Here's the point. We're here today because we don't care whether it's Republican or Democrat. The power. They want the power. Historically, here's the facts. Whoever won the presidential election in 2020 gets his butt kicked in the midterms next year. Stop and think about that. Did these Republicans and other Republicans across the country, did they really want Donald Trump to win? No. Because Biden winning guarantees them that they might be able to get rid of Whitmer, Nessel, Benson, and gain more majority seats on the Republican side next year. Think about this.
We may not get an audit. You know why? They want to keep the power for themselves next year. This is very simple, and I'm out of here. Here's the truth. You need to get a hold of your state rep and your state senator and tell them if they don't do an audit, you will not put up signs, you will not knock on doors, you will not give them money, and you sure the hell won't vote for them next year. If the fix is in, the Democrats are going to win anyway, right? Because they won't get rid of these machines. Then guess what? Give the power to the Democrats, let them run it right in the ground, and we'll kick their ass in 24!
Thank you so much, Trucker Randy Bishop, and that's why he's a conservative talk radio show host. Thank you so much, Randy. In the course of my involvement with Election Integrity Fund and Force, I have met so many wonderful people, truly, truly wonderful people. You know how it is when you get in a crowd and you don't know anybody else, but you're all talking the same stuff. I like that. I love being in crowds like this where we can all talk about the same things that are concerning each and every one of us and you. The biggest concern that I have is securing liberty for our children. We have no choice but to do what we are doing. We should have been doing this 20 years ago. We should have been doing it 50 years ago. We should have been doing it 100 years ago. But we weren't. So that's fine. It is our time. It is my time. It is your time. It is all of us. It's our time to get it right. America is worth saving. One of the nice ladies that I met along the way is the president of Stand Up Chippewa. That's an organization in the Upper Peninsula. This is a dynamic woman. She's an organizer. She's been organizing community activism type things for a very long time. She got into the political fight because she also understands the gravity of the situation that our children are facing, not even what you and I are facing. Our children are facing a grave situation that we must fix. So I want to welcome Melanie Greenfield from the Upper Peninsula. Yay!
Hi everybody, and I'm so thrilled to be here. My name is Melanie Greenfield. I live in Chippewa County, and when you cross the bridge, you get about 45 minutes, you'll get to my home county. And I'm so thrilled. I feel I'm representing my patriot friends in northern Michigan and the Upper Peninsula by being here. I have been a community activist for my whole adult life, and I always wanted to get involved in politics, but it never seemed like the right time. And then in 2015, I heard that Donald Trump entered the presidential race. And at first, I didn't think much of it because I'm a small town girl and I never paid much attention to New York millionaires. But the second that I heard him being criticized that he was not a seasoned politician or he didn't say the right thing, I immediately jumped aboard the Trump train. Hasn't it been a ride on the Trump train? I'm sticking on the train until we blow through the giant conspiracy theory that Joe Biden won this election. I met the wonderful ladies at Election Integrity Fund and Force when they came up to an event I had a couple months ago, and we've stayed in contact because I've been trying to find, connecting them with Northern Michigan and UP people to work on the Qualified Voter File project. And the idea kind of developed that we should do a UP and a Northern Michigan tour to spread election information and to talk about the Qualified Voter File project. So I'm pleased to pronounce that we have planned the Audit Michigan Now tour. What you see now is going on the road in Northern Michigan. The tour starts in Gaylord, Michigan at the Iron Pig. Has anybody heard of the Iron Pig? That's October 20th, and then that night we're headed to Traverse City with the Citizens Liberating Michigan. The next day will be Thursday the 21st. We're going to go to Charlevoix in the morning with Stand Up Charlevoix hosting, and then that evening we're going
join us. Election Integrity Fund, no, see, now she got me saying that. ElectionIntegrityForce.com is the website. There's also a sign-up table over there. And our next speaker, I think you'll all recognize and know. I had the great privilege of calling Matt DePerno before he became famous. And I have long thought that attorneys needed constitutional knowledge more than they seem to have. Attorneys, generally to me, they want to focus on Supreme Court decisions or statutes. I want an attorney to focus on the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. This call that I made to Matt DePerno was when I was with the beginning of my time with Election Integrity Fund and Force. Matt DePerno was just trying to reach out to get some momentum for a forensic audit in Antrim. We talked for an hour, and I am telling you, I am here to tell you today, as God is my witness, Matt DePerno is the most constitutionally knowledgeable attorney I have ever talked to. Ever. And I am so proud to be on stage to introduce Mr. Matthew DePerno from the DePerno Law Offices. Welcome, Matt.
Hello. What a crowd, thank you. Listen to this guy, let's go Brandon, he says, right? Come on. Thanks to everyone for coming out today. Really, I'm pleased to be here in Lansing with all of you. Thanks to all of you patriots who took the day off and came out here to exercise your constitutional right? You know Merrick Garland, you know who that guy is, right? He recently said that getting rowdy at a school board meeting means you might be a domestic terrorist. And I'm sure he hates what he's seeing today. And I bet you Dana Nessel hates it too. Well, I say you're just exercising your First Amendment rights to assemble, right? Your First Amendment right to free speech. Your First Amendment right to redress grievances to the government, right? But I tell you this, Democrats hate the First Amendment. They hate the assembly that we're doing today. They hate the free exchange of ideas. Today is about your demand for a full forensic audit in Michigan. And we demand it because the Michigan Constitution gives us that right. Article 2, Section 4 of the Michigan Constitution, it states that every elector who votes, everyone in the state of Michigan who's qualified to vote, shall have the right to conduct an audit of the statewide election. It doesn't say maybe. It doesn't say if you ask permission. In fact, later on it states that this is a self-executing right. That means you don't need permission from the government. It also says that this section shall be liberally construed in favor of the voter. And this provision is meant to ensure the accuracy and integrity of elections. So today is about protecting individual constitutional rights of every registered voter in the state of Michigan. Whether Democrat or Republican, this should be a nonpartisan issue. So where are our elected officials today? Right? There's only a few courageous elected officials who came out today. The rest hiding behind those walls back there, right? The vast majority are absent. They don't want to hear your redress of grievances. They don't care. They have forgotten, or maybe they never learned, that both the state and the federal constitutions anchor the fundamental right of the people to govern themselves upon the framers' intent that the means by which you choose
your representatives must be of ultimate purity and primary importance. If the right to vote is not protected, all other guarantees afforded by the Constitution are irrelevant, because they are dependent upon the integrity of the franchise and the consecration of representative choice. The nation cannot survive as a constitutional republic if the government allows the transfer and adjudication of thousands of so-called votes by non-delegated, unaccountable officials without legally required oversight, or the acceptance and counting of illegitimate votes, or the rank absence of any semblance of operational integrity in the electronic systems used to process ballots and tabulate votes. If we allow the manipulation of ballots during and after they are processed, then the government cannot guarantee that the fundamental constitutional right of our citizenry is protected. And that's what we're seeing today, people. So for the last 10 months, I've been out there on the trail demanding a full audit of this entire state. I've issued subpoenas in Wayne County, Oakland County, Kent County, Macomb, Grand Traverse, Berry, Livingston, and Charlevoix. And in every one of them, all of them, their elected officials fought us in court. The elites in this state, the elected officials, they don't want you, the voter, the common man, the taxpayer, right? They don't want you to see the voting data. Am I right? Now let me give you a brief history and a few points on our voting system. Our voting system is managed by the U.S. Election Assistance Commission. Our systems are tested based on that EAC guidelines testing standard established in 2005. Not one voting machine used in the 2020 election was certified beyond the 2005 standard. For reference, iPhones were not invented in 2005, and AOL CD-ROMs were still being mailed to when those current guidelines were written. So these companies accredited by the EAC to test voting systems are called voting system test laboratories, and there are only two, listen to this, two accredited by the U.S. One of them is a company called ProV&V. This means literally that any voting machine manufacturer or software company must hire one of these two companies to test their equipment prior to the election. So get that straight. The voting machine companies hire these companies to test their machines prior to the election. Do you think there's a reason that our government has only selected two companies? The reality is that there are many qualified companies across this country that could do it. But our federal government's created a monopoly. You can't do the work unless you're certified. You can't get certified unless the government approves it. Your vote is controlled by the government. Now back to the present. Listen, all this time I have been fighting. Macomb County Clerk Anthony Perlini has refused us access to that county. But he just announced last week that he is going to conduct an audit in Macomb County. And guess who he hired? ProV&V. So he's hiring the very same company that certified his system prior to the election. You think they're going to find any fraud? It is a clear conflict of interest. But it gets worse, people. On August 6, 2021, just a few months ago, quietly and secretly, Attorney General Dana Nessel, she quietly authored an opinion stating that Secretary of State Benson has full and sole authority to conduct audits in this state in violation of your constitutional rights. But it gets worse. Nessel told Benson that she has full and sole authorities to access voting equipment, meaning the physical examination, handling, and operating of the equipment. But it gets worse.
Benson has now signed off on the Macomb County audit. You think there's a problem there? Does it sound like it's coordinated? This Macomb County audit is an orchestrated ruse to bring in cybersecurity firms that have close ties to the voting manufacturing companies. Now let me tell you this, the 9th and 10th Amendment of the Constitution is intended to make it clear that Americans have other fundamental rights other than those set forth in the Bill of Rights. When we talk about voting rights, the United Supreme Court rulings are based on the overarching principles that the Constitution reserves to the national government only those expressly enumerated powers of Article 1. All other powers not specifically reserved are delegated to the states, and guess who? The people. Voting rights are one of those rights not reserved to the federal government, meaning they are left to the control of the states and the people. That's why Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer are pushing so hard for House Bill 1 and Senate Bill 1. They understand that voting rights are reserved to the states and the people, and they don't like that. They want to take your rights, they want to make it a federal right. We have worked too long and too hard to have your efforts and your rights as Michiganders blatantly tossed aside due to cronyism and corruption. Recognizing the powers over elections are reserved to the people. We, the people, must demand transparency in Macomb County and across the entire state of Michigan. Transparency is important. The constitutional is essential. Sadly, it seems many of our elected officials, including in these buildings out here, they don't recognize the Constitution, much less celebrate it like we are today. But today we recognize that the principles of our founding fathers are as relevant today as ever and vital to the success of our democracy. As President Reagan used to remind people, the Soviet Union had a constitution too, and it even included some lofty sounding rights. Ultimately, however, those promises were just empty words because there was no rule of law to enforce them. The rule of law is the linchpin of American freedom, ending corruption. I have been attacked by the Democrats. I've been threatened by Dana Nessel. She thinks people who support election integrity should be criminally prosecuted. She has blatantly disregarded and shown she doesn't care anything about the First Amendment, free speech, the right to redress grievances, or freedom to of businesses and churches. When Governor Whitmer and Dana Nessel shut down Michigan, and let me tell you, they will try to do it again. They said only essential people can work. And I say to you that putting food on your table is essential. I will end critical race theory. It is time to take back our schools, our state, and our country. And it begins with you. Who wants to end corruption? Then get in the action. Who wants your rights restored? Then get involved today. I ask you, go to my website, deperno4mi.com. Volunteer, contribute, 5, 10, 20 bucks, whatever you think your rights are worth. Dana Nessel doesn't value your rights, but we need an army to fight. Never again will we tolerate overreach by executive directors. The Democrats and the establishment don't understand the power of the grassroots movement in Michigan. We are many, we are conservative. We love God, family, and country. And we will no longer sit back and let these Marxists and socialists and corrupt officials dictate our lives. We need to fight back now. So I challenge you, all of you, reach out to your neighbors, friends, family, loved ones. Spread the word. We must join forces, pass the hat, chip in order to enact change and restore our rights as the people of Michigan. Yes. Thank you for your support, and God bless you.
God bless you. Thank you so much, Mr. DePerno. That's DePerno4MI.com. DePerno4MI.com. We need an attorney general like Matt DePerno. And you know who else knows that Michigan needs an attorney general like Matt DePerno?
Okay, so to the people who are watching, apparently the Facebook version of this feed went down. So I'm going to stop the feed here, and I'm going to start a new one promptly. So if you're watching now, wherever you're watching, I'll be live again in about 3 minutes. I had to say this at the beginning. I'm going to say it again so that YouTube does not penalize this video. YouTube only gives ESDA, educational, scientific, documentary, or artistic exceptions for certain claims that they dislike, such as many of the ones that are going on here. If there are countervailing views presented, I did this at the beginning, I'm going to do it again to make sure that we don't have a YouTube strike or an issue related to raw primary source documentation of this work. You can go to cdc.gov/rumor control to learn about election integrity, or you could go to the WHO's website to learn about vaccines being safe and so forth. So that was a countervailing view. YouTube may not censor this video as a result of presenting that. I will be live again, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.